So I'm delighted to be joined by Ryan McNaught, the Brickman himself.
Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure.
And we're here in Melbourne for the opening of this little small exhibition you've been working on.
Yeah, just for a little while. But firstly, welcome to Australia.
Thank you.
As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Melbourne, as it always is.
Take your word for it.
Take my word for it. Yeah, we've been working on Lego Star Wars for a long time, and finally we've got it open.
And it's pretty amazing.
So I'll ask you a question, James. A while back we met in Billund, in a chance coincidence, I'd call it, and I told you what we were doing. How does it rate versus what I told you versus the reality?
Well, I got to see a PowerPoint presentation then, and I think it was like, it ended up being an hour-long thing, and it was pretty incredible. You walked through every room, and I think there was 15 or 20 of us. It was all of the Lego certified professionals in the room.
All my colleagues.
Yep. And all of us were in complete awe at what you were proposing to do. And I think there were some people around the table, including myself, were like, well, how's he going to do that? And you've pulled it off in an incredible, incredible way. I mean, the time, the patience, the dedication.
Yeah, it's a thing. And much like the Star Wars universe, which is so rich and so detailed, the hardest part of this exhibition was, what don't we build? Like, what do you leave behind? What are the things that, you know? Like, I got questions today, probably 20 people, where's Jar Jar? So
Sacrilege.
Sacrilege, right? So it's things like that. But, I mean, gee, that's a good problem to have.
You can knock him up this afternoon.
Well, it's funny, I've got some plans on Jar Jar.
Okay, all right. So does that mean, I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, does that mean there could be additions along the line?
What we always do in our exhibitions, which we've done previously, is usually when we go somewhere that's new or exciting or whatever, we'll usually make a model specific to that place as a bit of a reveal or something along those lines. So yeah, we've got plenty in the tank.
Okay, good, good. So obviously it's an immersive exhibition. It's not just people walking around. There's so much for people to get their hands dirty with, to create models. Was that always something that you intended to do, to make it so interactive?
Definitely. This is our 10th exhibition, obviously the first of Star Wars in that genre, but we've obviously learnt along the way what's important to people. And whilst it's easy to say, hey, let's just build some stuff out of Lego and chuck some bricks on a play table, it's the why. Why are you doing that? Why are you making this and whatever? And we really wanted to get them together. Like, you know, to become a Jedi, you have to build your own lightsaber, right? It's part of the law. So why not make that an experience for people to do? The hard part is always, it's easy to talk about that stuff. Hey, this is what the experience is going to be and this is what you're going to do, but how do you bring that to life? And so there's a lot of technology in the exhibition, which isn't my forte. Lego I'm okay with, but so yeah, it's good to see that come to life.
So how, over your 10 exhibitions, how do you think that I mean, there's so much to learn, but at the end of the day, it's still a Lego brick.
Definitely. So our last two prior to this one were Jurassic World.
Right.
So life-size dinosaurs.
Wow.
So when you think about, okay, you've got a multiple-ton T-Rex made out of Lego, is it much different to a multiple-ton AT-AT? So whilst they physically look different, they're similar in dimensions. So we probably couldn't have done Star Wars without doing that. In saying that, there are some absolute fundamental differences. For example, like in the world of Star Wars, the details, so like the cutaway models and the cross sections, you can't do that with dinosaurs, right? Cool. That doesn't exist in that world. So Star Wars gave us an opportunity to be able to do the things that, I used to always do, and were kind of loved. That was my passion point. So Star Wars gave me the opportunity to do different things too.
And capturing facial expressions, which you've done incredibly
well. I want to talk to you about this, James. So faces. Faces in Lego are probably the hardest thing to do. When I say that, it's easy to make a face, 2 eyes, nose, mouth, whatever, but to make it actually look like someone. And so how do you react? What's your reaction? Who do you think, did we nail them? Are we close?
I think Christopher Lee looks fantastic.
Okay,
as Count Dooku. I think Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka looks amazing. And the reaction to that model, I think in particular online, is people are really, really impressed with that. Because you really, really captured her look.
Yeah, I mean, she's very distinctive, isn't she? And the makeup that she wears, and even her facial expressions behind the makeup are pretty distinctive. So, yeah, she was a good one to do. And certainly with Dooku, thank goodness for beards. I'm a big fan of beards in Lego because they let us hide all manner of Lego sins. Right. So thank goodness he decided to wear a beard. It was good.
Which one was the hardest though? I mean, Luke looks pretty impressive as well in terms of his menacing look fighting Vader.
Luke is a really hard one, actually. So 2 things. So Mark Hamill at that point in his life he's quite a small, very diminutive. And he's actually really quite skinny, almost, to a point of asking questions. And he's really got sunken cheeks and really quite interesting features.
We just had the car crash at that point.
I didn't know that.
So yeah, in between A New Hope and Empire, he had a car crash, which is why he's got a couple of additional scars on his face between the two films.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, there you go. I learned something today. Well, anyway, so to the point, he was very difficult. But I mean, out of all of those characters, Grievous is by far and away that model. I don't know how. I didn't build any of Grievous. That was my team that had the joy of doing Grievous, and I look at that in wonder. Great questions.
I mean, is there a steel frame inside there? Or?
So inside all of our Lego models, obviously the number one priority we have is safety. So that's a key component. And all of our models have steel frames in them. Usually, as a general rule, they're non-load bearing in any way, shape or form. It's just we build the Lego around them and they just, for safety, if someone tried to push them over or whatever. And some of them weigh so much. The trick is with most of our models in this instance, we've put lightsabers in them. So if I had to hide electrics and all that kind of stuff in them as well. So often the steel is a conduit for that kind of stuff as well, which is great. But the interesting thing about Grievous is, of course, he doesn't exist in the real world. He's pure CGI.
Yeah.
So they don't have gravity to worry about. They don't have to worry about physics. They don't have to worry about all of those things, whereas we do. Yeah. And so he's actually almost impossible to exist in the real world. The skinny joints that he has and the fragile nature of him as a character was almost impossible to make out of Lego. So we actually had to take a couple of artist liberties with some of his joints. Yeah.
Which is fair.
Well, I mean, I'm a purist. I don't know about you. Are you a purist?
I am, but Lego, there aren't the elements that exist sometimes to create exactly what you want. And we know from thousands and thousands of Lego sets over the last 50 years of the different elements used to hide things and to make things possible.
Compromises. Yeah, it's all about compromises. So, and obviously we always, core rule, remain committed to the Lego system. So we always make sure that whatever we're doing is in the system, which is challenging at times, but fun.
Now, in saying that, I know you had to get some elements specially made.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a thing. So C-3PO. So I actually had the pleasure about 15 years ago of making C-3PO.
Right.
Classic yellow brick back in those days.
Bright yellow.
Bright yellow. Not a gold speck to be seen anywhere. And now this time I actually got to make him pearlescent gold, which is pretty amazing. And even the silver leg, the metallic silver in the leg. Yeah. And so I had to get those bricks specially made, which was awesome. In all my time, I've used them before, but I've never been able to say, hey, I've got this specific project for these specific bricks. And so that was, a bit of a treat.
Right. And was 3PO the hardest model that you made, do you think, for the exhibition? Or?
Me personally, I also did Moff Gideon.
Right.
And in terms of character-wise, and him from a facial perspective is quite difficult. Giancarlo's, he's very emotive as well, and he's
very much
not often I get to do mustaches in Lego, so he was challenging. But certainly C-3PO, and I was saying this to someone before, because he can't do facial expressions, right? How he brings emotion is by the way he moves or walks or talks or that kind of stuff. And so how do you bring emotion to a character that doesn't do that? Yeah. Like a subtle eyebrow lift in a character is very powerful, whereas we don't have that with him. So it was difficult like that. And even you've got to think about head positioning, tilt.
Yeah. The way his body is slightly bent forward.
Yes, all those things as an actor that he had to do to bring that life to character. Capturing that in Lego was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's a good character. Really good character.
Very powerful.
So let's talk about that Death Star.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because that's pretty iconic.
Yes.
And I think you've captured pretty much every single scene possible.
We tried.
You did?
We tried. As a kid, I loved those cutaway books. Do you remember those books? Yeah, like tanks and ships and
incredible cross sections or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Always amazing. And later on in life, of course, I think DK did heaps with the Star Wars and that kind of stuff as well, which is awesome.
Continue to do so today.
Yes. Well, hopefully we've added to their arsenal of ones that they can do now. I loved those books. They were always captivating, and I'd read them until the pages were out, sort of thing, as a kid. And so I love doing Lego cross sections. I won't say, you know how us as Lego fans, we always have a niche. It's always our thing.
Yep.
I think cross-sections is my thing.
Okay.
I've done a few over the years and I love doing them. And so to do those from the Star Wars universe is awesome.
So we've got a couple. We've got the Star Destroyer and we've also got the Death Star.
Yep.
And the Death Star is capturing some iconic scenes from the Lego Star Wars games as well.
Well, that's a whole, I wouldn't say it's another universe, but it kind of is, of the Lego Star Wars games, and the humour and the fun in those
absolutely.
is a lot. So we wanted to really capture some of those as well. So probably best bit of my job is having to do the research on these things. So I had to play the video games again.
Well, for some children, that was their first ever introduction to Lego Star Wars. Well, to Star Wars and to Lego and bringing it together.
Oh, well, I hope I did them justice.
No, you did. You did. You did. There is some fun little scenes in there. Stormtroopers taking baths and...
Of course. And I
things.
I did get Eddie Izzard in there as well. We've got the Cantina jokes in there too, so it's a tray.
That's good.
Yeah. Was he Mr. Thompson?
Yeah.
Head of catering. Yeah, anyway.
It's good. It's really, really good. So, obviously, you're getting the first crowds through. The exhibition doesn't actually physically open until May the 4th, but you've had a couple of groups through, VIP groups, that people have paid extra to come and see it early.
Yeah.
What's their first reactions been?
Well, it's been great, thank goodness. Always nerve-wracking, particularly when you spend so many years working on something and you don't know if it's going to be a success or not. I guess no different to filmmakers of any genre. They spend years working on a project and then it goes to the cinemas. Is it a flop? Is it a hit? Is it a whatever? So thus far we've had great reactions. So yeah, hopefully it continues that way.
And we just caught up with the CEO of Melbourne Museum,
who
told us that it's completely sold out for the first day.
Oh, there you go. That's great news.
Which is good news.
That's
really, really positive.
Yeah,
news.
awesome. So what we are up against, and I'll ask you about light side versus dark side in a minute, but we have our federal election here in Australia the day before it opens. And so there's a lot of similarities between light and dark side of who's who in the zoo. But of course, people are very preoccupied with that. So it's nice to hear that we're still doing okay, even while that's going on.
Yeah. And
maybe it's a good distraction.
I was going to say, and we met the premiere for the first time on a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Which was, and you went to school with her.
Small world, isn't it?
It
right?
is.
It is a small world. So yeah, we actually went to high school together.
Right.
And we even did year 11 politics together. It's a bit crazy. She obviously paid much more attention in that class than I did.
Yeah, but you paid attention to the brick.
I did. I think I got the better end of the deal. Maybe.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah, well, true. Yeah.
No, it was nice for her to be here, and she had so much knowledge of Star Wars.
Were you shocked by
that?
that?
Yeah, completely.
I was too. I mean, here's the thing, and I'm not much of a political person in any way, shape or form, but you only see politicians in a certain light or in a certain way. Yep. You don't really know them per se. You only see how they talk about a press conference or whatever. But they're like, she went to the anniversary of the
Revenge of the
Sith the other night and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and she knew all the characters and she knew all the films. I mean, it was great walking around with her and seeing what she knew.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really, really good.
So she went up in my books.
Good, good. So the exhibition opens officially May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
Yes, indeed.
And it's running through to January.
Here in Melbourne, yes, that's the current plan.
Brilliant.
In Australia, it's about summer school holidays.
Okay, fine.
Which is December to end of January. That's when we all get some freedom, when the weather's at its peak and all of that. So, yeah, that's usually when people come and check things out.
Brilliant. Well, huge congratulations.
Oh, thanks, James.
It's an amazing exhibition. You've done Lego Star Wars completely proud.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm really hopeful that, not just Australia, but other Lego Star Wars fans around the world get an opportunity to see this because it really is incredible.
We hope to tour it. Hopefully it'll get around to people. My passion is still burning. I've got a lot of Lego Star Wars models still to build, so hopefully we get a chance to show lots of people.
Awesome.
And I think for me it's really interesting. Star Wars fans know Star Wars, right? Like, they understand the universe, the machinations of vehicles, of people, of characters and whatever. And so I think there's probably no greater praise from someone that knows Star Wars very well, which you do, and it's a world that you live in. Gosh, I hope I got it right.
You did.
So hopefully that's the right,
you did.
thing. And we kind of picture ourselves, these crazy little Aussies down on the other end of the planet, doing their thing, and hopefully we've managed to pull it off.
Now, the last thing, I should have brought this up earlier, I'd be remiss to say it's not just you. There is 38 other people
the team
sitting behind you, and we should just mention the team.
Yeah, so we have, to be honest with you, I'm probably maybe the 23rd best builder out of those 38.
I doubt that. But
No,
okay.
no, true story. And we have such a rounded team of people. Some people are amazing at vehicles. Some people are great at anatomy. Some people are wonderful at creatures, you know, those kind of things. And so to be able to lean on the strengths of all of those people in their particular skill set, that's when everything amplifies and comes up. So very lucky to have such a wonderful team behind me. I'm like the front man of the band.
It's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, pretty good.
But then you take all the stick and everything else as well. The good and the bad. But.
I don't know if I'm Liam or Noel. Either way, I'm not sure.
Well, hopefully, like Liam and Noel, you'll be making a lot of money out of the Lego Star Wars exhibition.
Well, it's funny you say that, and I'm sure you and your wonderful viewers know this. When you work on a passion project, it's like when George Lucas first did Star Wars. He didn't do Star Wars to make a buck, right? And so if I was to make a career where I wanted to make lots of money, Lego wouldn't be it. Sure. And so it's about following your passions and things that you love. And if hopefully you can put the kids through school and pay off the mortgage at the same time, then you're doing okay. So hopefully that continues.
Good. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're incredibly busy.
No, mate, it's fine.
But good to see you.
Thank you.
And catch up again very, very soon.
So next time, if we bump into Billand, you might get the next presentation.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Do you like any other things? What else are you into?
Well, I think Harry Potter lends itself to something similar. The Marvel universe as well would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think both of those would work really well, especially now you've done Jurassic, you've done Star Wars, those two other big licenses that would tick boxes for fandom.
I think you've just filled up my next 10 years.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And there's more Star Wars coming, so
totally.
Always in motion the future, so they say.
There you go. Very wise. Thanks, mate.
Brilliant.